Hey everyone, just wanted to touch base with you guys about the creating your client file. This week you have an assignment where you will be working on your intake file, and in lieu of us having a final exam at the end, what we are going to be doing is creating a client file. This is an online class, and so this will be done electronically, of course. As in, it's really good practice because most of the files that you would be working on in the field are now have converted to like CMIS or electronic files. So just to get started, wanted to touch base with you guys. All right, don't freak out. A lot of people kind of tend to get a little antsy about what creating a client file. You can do this. It's fine, and we're going to go through this step by step as to what to expect. You all were assigned a case study found on on our Moodle page, and there's a document below. If you were assigned Sarah, then of course, then you have to take a look at what is said about Sarah or vice versa, whatever. So that is your file, and I mean that is your client, and you're going to follow that client for the remainder of the semester. If you look in your text, you'll see each week we're going to be doing something different. You're going to be learning about different forms. The best way to understand these forms is if you can apply it and apply it personally, and that's by following this client. That's not a real face-to-face client. You don't necessarily work in an agency where you're going to meet with them, so you're going to have to use your imagination and pretend as if you were. Pretend as if you do have meetings with this client based on their issues that they're presenting with. Some of the information that is going to be requested, you're not going to really know. You're going to have to ad lib that and make that up. Now, the luxury is that you're able to do that in a real, because this is a classroom setting, but in the real world, in practice, you would never be able to just make up information you don't know. So just understand that this is kind of an exception, but it's an opportunity for you to be invested and really involved um, in um, in your client. So, looking ahead, I wanted to just share an example of for you guys. And this is not a case study that was assigned to anyone. It was one I just kind of came up with on the cuff here. So we have Christian, who's 22 years old. He's a student, and he has been recently evacuated from his student housing because of flooding caused by Hurricane Matthew. He reports as always having struggled with anxiety since he was just a young boy. He is also diagnosed with ADHD since he was 8. He tells you the medication he's supposed to take daily, but he's not taking that medication because he's lost everything. And this is just kind of a brief rundown of everything with Christian. If this were my um, if I were, if I were you guys and this was what I was assigned, how it would look like, how you would put it into practice. Um, and it goes on to talk about some reasons, what's going on with him. He's been separated from his roommate and best friend, has not had contact in 5 days. He can't find him. Um, and prior to the flood, Christian also struggled academically and personally with, self-doubt, poor self-concept, no motivation. He's not able to sleep. He's anxious, moody, and he feels very alone. He doesn't want to worry his family with his problems, and he reports having a good relationship with his mom, dad, and younger brothers. Now, based on that, you wouldn't know his parents' names. Based on that, you wouldn't have a physical address from him. I understand all of those things. So that's where you're going to have to be a little bit creative. Okay, so now in looking at the intake form, let's take a look quickly at what the intake form would look like for us. Now, if you go over here into Moodle and you scroll down to our activity for the week, you'll see the new referral or inquiry case file. So you open that up and you'll see that it's going to open up in Google Docs. From Google Docs, what I'd like for you to do, oh, sorry you guys. What I'd like for you to do is open it up just like that. And you'll see, I thought it was Google Docs. I'm sorry, I did save it in Word for you guys now. Um, Click on Enable Edit, and it's just a generic intake form. So what you're going to do here, I deleted all of the lines so wouldn't quite be so messy. So you'll go over here, and I want you to be sure to select the underline key. So everything that you type will be underlined, and it'll be neat and orderly. So we have a first name, we know it's Christian. So we'll say Christian Davis. And we know that he's 22 years old. We know he's a male. So each time you're still going to have to keep going back over here and clicking on underline. We know that he's male. And let's say he's 22. So again, click over here on underline. You're going to say his birthday is 9/11 96. His address, let's say, clicking back over here on underline, 508 West Wyndham Circle, Greenville, North. Oh, look, and I didn't do the underline, sorry. So be sure just to go back over here, highlight it, and underline it. And then just keying in some of the demographic information. Of course, I didn't have this. You just kind of have to use your imagination as far as this goes. In a real situation, you would have more to go on. His home telephone number, underline, go back and underline, 252 567. Let's be funny. 867 5309. And again, you would fill in a work telephone number. We don't know that he's working. I would say no, he's a student. Or he could be working. That's really up to you. You guys can name the parents, you can name his employer, um, school. Of course, I said that he went to East Carolina, but I'm kind of partial to the Pirates myself. Um, and be sure to look in your text. This form can actually be found in your appendices on page 456. And be sure that you're putting the correct information in the correct places. The chief complaint, was there any previous evaluation or services or treatment? What we do know about Christian is that he was diagnosed with ADHD. So therefore, he had to have some sort of evaluation at some point, and we would need to document that. So be sure that you fill out this form completely. And once you're done, what you're going to do is go up here, click on Save, Save As, and I asked for you to save it in a specific format, and that's where it would be intake form and using your last name and first name. Save it that way. And from there, you'll upload it into the activity assignment for this week. Now, I just wanted to walk through that with you step by step. as far as how to approach those things. Um, Now I wanted to continue just to, I broke everything down here for you to be able to see about how to save it and uploading it into Moodle. But this is not it. There's more. This is just the beginning of several assignments that are going to be compiled in the end for you guys to submit, because you'll get feedback on these assignments if they're not filled out completely or correctly. And then in the end, at the end of the semester, in lieu of your final grade, you will submit electronically to me a file that contains each one of these documents for your client file, and you'll be graded on it and reviewed just as if you were working in an agency and you were to submit your file for quality assurance, or it would be audited. It's the same thing. I will be auditing your file that way. Um, so you're going to have to be a little bit creative. You're going to have to make up some details that are not listed in your assigned case studies. Um, don't worry about it. I'm really more interested in you applying what you have learned correctly in the right formats on the files or in the forms. Um, be patient with me. I'm recreating all of these forms um, in either a Google Doc or a Word format, and that's why you're going to have some formatting issues a little bit. Just please try to correct it yourself if it doesn't quite come up that way, not to alter the content of it, but as far as like underlining issues and things like that. So in the end, I was really trying to save you guys some money by not having an e-format of the book and just trying to work with you guys through this way. So anyway, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Thanks. Bye.